Fast Grom on the local scene turned factory downhill racer. Today, we've got Jackson Goldstone joining us. Jackson was the junior overall World Cup winner in 2021, and he earned those rainbow stripes along the way. So it was no time at all before this guy was gonna get picked up by a factory team, but not just anyone, the Santa Cruz Syndicate. Today, we're gonna go deep on his V10 setup here, just ahead of the first stop of the World Cup this year in Lourdes. Jackson, thank you so much for joining us today. First question, we're going deep here. You spent so many years on those Trek bikes. You won world champs, the overall title. So how and why did this move over to Santa Cruz come along?
Yeah, so the Trek is obviously a completely different bike compared to the Santa Cruz being high pivot, non-high pivot. And kind of just everything worked out right to make the switch to Santa Cruz. And it's pretty hard to say no.
In comparison to that latest bike that you did have so many great results on, and this new V10 here, what are the biggest changes in the ride for you?
The biggest changes for me were kind of like straight line and cornering stuff. So like in the tech stuff, it felt pretty similar, but like even just like carrying rolling speed over jumps and stuff, I find this bike a lot quicker and a lot more snappy through the corners, which is kind of fits my riding style better, and I like it a lot.
Nice. And can you actually whip this thing? Because, you know, some people say this bike, that bike, they don't whip so good. This guy knows whips. Can you get it sideways?
I can get it sideways. I find it easier to get sideways than the Trek 2 last year. I felt, it jumps better too, so.
Like you said, going from the Trek with the high pivot suspension design onto the VPP here with the V10, what would you say are the strengths of each of them?
I feel like the high pivot has good straight line speed in through rough stuff. Just kind of eats it up. You can stay on line really easily. Where this bike is a little more pingy, but it works at like, I've got this thing set up kind of in the middle of the tune, so it's a little slower than some of the other people, and just could kind of make it a bit more stable.
With more stability, I mean, I remember reading you were going between sizes, you were messing around with a medium, now you're on a large frame. How did that come about? How did you kind of configure it for yourself?
It was kind of just a team camp thing and just a kind of idea that sparked in my head. I mean, might as well try a bigger frame since I got the access to it. So, I decided to go for a bigger frame with a couple reach adjustments and stuff like that. And I really like how it feels. It's pretty similar to how the medium was set up, just with a longer wheelbase, so it's a bit more stable.
Nice, and I see you've got it set up mullet here. That works well for you?
Yeah, really love the mullet. Just kind of how I've always ran it, so.
What sort of adjustments did you make? Were there special linkages you guys put in, headset cups, that sort of thing, to get the bike to feel at home for you?
So basically brought the stems back, but then it kind of felt like it was too low, and so I brought it up to bring it up and kind of set me into a different riding position. But I tried a whole bunch of different stuff. I tried going longer stems, tried doing just the normal headset cups, and this is what I found best.
What are the biggest changes you think that you've made? Is it your riding style, or is it changes on the bike that help you get up to speed? Because the time before that first World Cup race is super short.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was me is I had to change my riding style just a little bit to what last year was, and that was a big help. And then, obviously getting the bike dialed was nice too.
Jackson, in the past, would you say you kind of set it and forget it with your bike setup, or do you tend to completely start from scratch based on the course you're going to race?
For like kind of like bike, bars, kind of way everything is set up, I would stay the same throughout most of the year, and then mostly just make kind of suspension changes throughout the track. For Val de Sol, I went for like a high-rise bar just because it was so steep, but I didn't really change anything else in the other races, so kind of just kept it similar.
Nice. And Lourdes, have you raced there before?
No, it's gonna be first time at Lourdes, and it's gonna be interesting.
Have you checked out the track at all with your own eyes? Have you put your rubber on the dirt yet?
No, I've watched GoPro POVs and stuff like that, and I've seen some Instagram posts of the track, but if it just hoping it doesn't rain because I've heard it's like ice out there.
You talked about all the changes you made on your cockpit. Do you just want to run us through those?
Yeah, sure. So kind of to start with, I've got the Buzzworks 8mm Reach headset back to kind of bring it closer towards me. I've got some stem spacers here, which I think is 10mm. So I got two 5mm each, so 10mm up. And then I'm pretty sure I'm running a 45mm stem and 25mm rise bars. at 775 width. I've ridden this same width the whole kind of long time, so I'm used to where everything is.
What, if anything, are you extremely particular about on your bike setup, even across all your bikes, not just this one?
I'd probably say my kind of brake angle. I like them not Johan Borelli up, but like pretty far up. I find it just causes less arm pump, having kind of more weight on the wrist rather than the thumb. So yeah, that's kind of my main thing I think about when setting up a bike.
Nice. And then I noticed, like from this angle anyway, your shifter is kind of facing pretty high up there too.
Yeah.
Just so you can smash into that harder gear.
Yeah, when I have it down, it sometimes rubs on the end of my thumb and kind of is annoying. So
you know the one.
Yeah, just kind of pull it up to get it out of the way. You don't shift too much in downhill, so it's fine.
What kind of brake setup are you running there? Are you doing any special mixed pad combo or funky rotor size?
No, I'm just full Saint. I've got the brake pads have no fins on them just to stop the rattle noise.
Do you want to run us through your wheel setup? I see you're running the Santa Cruz wheels, but tell us a little more about that and the rubber you've chosen as well.
Yeah, so Santa Cruz Reserve wheels, I've got mullet, so 29 front, 27.5 back. I'm running Assegai 2.5, 29 up front, and a DHR2 in the back. Pretty stock setup. I think a lot of people run that. Just running no inserts now, and yeah, I've had no problems, so it's working good.
What PSI you're running front and rear usually?
Usually, I'd like to go for 23 front, 24 back. Kind of depends on the weather. If it's super wet, I'll go less, probably 21, 23 or something like that. But yeah, usually keep the 23, 24 pretty standard.
I believe you've been with Fox for a number of years now, but new bike, new design, you must have made some changes. So run us through the fork there and the shock as well.
Yeah, so Fox 40, DHX2 coil in the back. I think I've got a 450 spring, sorry. A lot stiffer than I was riding the Trek on last year, but just kind of the way it works, you run a softer spring, or harder spring to get even softer. Fork PSI is 68 PSI with 3 tokens, pretty sure, so.
All right, Jackson, you're a local BC boy. You've ridden a lot of bikes over your bike career, but how much do you honestly think the machine makes a difference in a rider's performance?
Yeah, the machine's definitely a big factor for me, at least. I feel like when I was starting out, like riding like a couple years ago and stuff like that, or well, a lot of years ago, I didn't really notice it too much. Like, I mean, I knew like, oh, like this feels good or whatever like that, but like I didn't notice that like this will make me faster. And I've like last year progressing into kind of, going really fast, you notice a lot more stuff. And yeah, it kind of depends on what level you're at, but definitely a good machine helps.
You've had a lot of support in the past as a rider and a racer, but you've made it. You're on a factory team now. How has that been getting used to as far as flexibility and kind of the freedom that you had before?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. There's a couple more sides of things that are a little more strict, but then there's a lot more freedom, and yeah, having a mechanic is a big help too. So yeah, just the level of support's way different. You can ask for things and they'll get it done and stuff like that. And yeah, just having your bike always dialed at every race is, yeah, definitely the best help for me.
Jackson, do you have any other new exciting partnerships this year, or just brands that you were able to bring with you to this factory team?
I was able to bring Fox Clothing, which I was really stoked on, and ODI Grips. And then kind of the good thing for me is I kept a whole bunch of old sponsors like Shimano, Maxxis, Fox, Chris King, and yeah, kind of having that stuff the same was also helping a lot. That it wasn't like a crazy big change for me when I was switching over. So made the switch from alloy to carbon bars this year, and yeah, noticing they're pretty good. They're a little flexier, or not as flexy, but like still flexier than carbon bars I've ran in the past, so arm pump's not that bad. Yeah,
totally. And you got to bring over that fancy nice toque with you as
well.
I
did get to bring that over with me. Yeah, stoked on that.
Okay, I do have to ask, you are the youngest member of the Santa Cruz Syndicate team. They actually have a female on there as well now, which I'm excited about. Big ups, Nina. How much do you get picked on for being the little guy?
Yeah, definitely get picked on a lot. Lori's kind of the main one that we mess around a lot with, and yeah, there's definitely some banter back and forth.
So we've got a late submission for a question from our Pinkbike boss. He wants to know, especially for the young guns. How many times a day do you actually yell, "Let's go"?
I mean, too many to count, I guess, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite words when I get super stoked.
Thank you so much, Jackson, for joining today. That was a great chat. We covered so many details, and good luck this season. We're all super hyped to see you go out there and crush it and just have some fun on the bike. If you guys enjoyed the bike check, make sure to subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss another one.